Alright. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Video Rewind Podcast.
We watch bad films so you don't have to.
I'm your host, Ryan Hickey, and here with me as always is my brother.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm the very responsible, straight-laced Patrick Hickey. and our special guest.
Guest, your name.
Good to have you.
Mike Aspinall.
Hey, how are you,
Special
Mike?
guest.
Alright,
Gotcha.
today we have an awesome movie. Directed by Stephen King, written by Stephen King. We are watching Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum
Overdrive. Rated R. Not appropriate for kids under 3. 1986. Tagline, Evils on Wheels. No, I'm sorry. Evil's Wheels. With an apostrophe.
Evil's Weasels.
Evil's Weasels. Evil's Weasels.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Are you on something?
Yeah, alright. So, when is the first time you guys saw this film?
I have seen this movie a couple times, like just on TV. I've caught it chunks, or on Netflix for a while. I was on there.
Okay.
I always remember seeing the cover of this though, with Green Goblin, and I always thought it was really cool.
You know what's odd? Actually, that's not the Green Goblin. It looks like him. That's an homage to the Green Goblin.
If it sure isn't.
I'm sure they'd get sued if
That's
it were.
what they call it when they don't feel like paying for the rights.
Is that how they didn't get the rights? They specifically said,
Yeah.
this is not the Green Goblin.
Even though I couldn't understand what it would be otherwise. How about you, Mike? What was the first time you saw the Maximum Overdrive?
This is one of those movies that, as a kid, it popped on TV, and I had no idea what it was, but trucks were driving themselves, and it was freaking me out.
Is this Knight Rider?
Yeah, what is going on? I have no idea what these people are saying, or any sort of character undertones, but trucks are driving themselves.
Yeah.
Caught it again as an adult in my AC/DC phase.
We all had
As I
that
backtrack.
deep fucking groove
Yeah.
of
Yes.
AC/DC.
Oh,
phase.
yeah.
Yes.
Then you realize they repeat themselves, and then you're like, true that.
Then you realize they've got 4 words that they jumble around in each song.
God, can they play guitar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck, they can play. I can't understand how he gets so deep into a growl and just rocks like steady all the time. You know, because that
Yeah.
really it must kill your throat. I'm surprised he didn't get what Steve Tyler had.
Oh yeah.
The bubbles.
Or like Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
My fucking meatloaf always comes out dry anyway.
No bubbles.
I saw this one recently. It wasn't something I grew up with, but I was recommended to watch it by my friend, my best friend, my coworker, my man crush, Nico Avlanides. Blow him up on Facebook and call him any name that you feel like.
Oh, he loves Turkey Dick.
Turkey Dick, Sloth Monkey, Creature from the Weecher, whatever you want to fucking think up. But Nico Avlanides, he was the one who recommended the film, and I do like it. It took 3 tries until I finished it, and the reason being at minute 37, there's a lull. I hit it like a fucking speed bump with nails and spikes and shit, and I had to fast forward. We'll get to that. What is the actual importance of this film in your mind?
I think it's just one of those amazing 80s missteps. Stephen King was in his coke-addled years and thought, like the trailer says,
Hi. My name is Stephen King. I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed. Wow.
What in the dickens is going on around here?
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories, and I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
Who was driving it?
I don't know.
It's coming after us!
It was my first picture as a director, and you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
I don't know!
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
So come and spend some time with me and my friends at the Dixie Boy. Spend some time in the dark.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And that's a promise.
You're gonna get us in an awful lot of trouble, man.
We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is.
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking mess. It's really entertaining, and but I really don't know.
It's got that quintessential 80s essence of a movie doesn't necessarily have to make sense.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
It just
It's
has
for
to be
entertainment, right? So
yeah.
that's why who
It
cares?
doesn't it doesn't take itself seriously, and it's just fun
Yeah, and it's got Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Emilio!
with
Emilio!
blazing.
I'm sure we're
blazing
going to
blue
say that a
eyes.
lot today.
beautiful-
So if you've never
beautiful set of
experienced
blue
Night at
eyes.
the Roxbury, you should probably watch that first. I was going to say that Steve King actually noted himself as the worst director ever. He basically said, "I'm not going to direct." Have you ever seen Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
So it was a lesson learned. But I do think that he should try again after listening to this podcast. We're going to tell him what he could have done better eventually.
Yeah, get on it, King, man. You can
But
do it.
for me, I think this movie is important because Stephen King was easily one of the most influential authors of my entire life. He had a lot of insight into suspense and a lot of insight into what people are afraid of and how to form it into imagery. So
Building real characters.
This is the first
real
time he
people.
wrote a movie for
absolutely.
the silver screen, and then he directed it. He got all coked up, and he put the work in and the time in, and I do appreciate that. This is Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. So I mean, if you're only going to do one film, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, he really threw it all into one film.
Right.
One big mess.
We'll talk about the incidents of the film
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that got injured on this movie.
So
Sadly.
I've actually seen this film now, 1 and 3 half times. So 2.5 times.
Well, you have to take that 15-minute chunk out for
Yeah.
every time you did say it.
So who is your favorite in the film?
I don't know. I was actually going to say I really like the casting in this. There's Emilio Estevez. I don't know the other guy's name, but he is Commissioner Gordon from the Batman movies.
Yeah,
And-
the originals.
yeah,
right?
from the originals.
Batman Returns, Batman
Batman
Forever, at least.
Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was the last one he did.
And he plays a shitty dude in this whole film.
He
is the
does a
cheapest
really good,
boss I've ever fucking heard. Actually, I went through that at work today too. I was like, this motherfucker is just like goddamn Hendershot is his name, or Bubba they call each other.
But he plays the same character in one of the Dirty Harry sequels. He plays this asshole sheriff, and it's basically the same character. He's so good at it. So I was not surprised when I found out he was in this. And it's got the truck driver is, what would you call him?
Which one?
The black truck driver. But he is from Silence of the Lambs. He's
Okay,
the
all
only
right,
character.
His name then is
The
Frankie
guard, right?
Faison,
Yeah.
and he plays Handy, the truck driver.
Yeah, he is the only person who is in every one of the Hannibal movies, except for Hannibal Rising, I think.
Right, he played Nurse Barney Matthews. He was also in The Wire, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, The Cookout 1 and 2, The Money Pit with Tom Hanks. He was in Chud.
He was in Chud. Holy
he was
shit.
in 2 movies.
We have to do Chud,
We have
actually.
to
That'd be
do
amazing.
Chud.
Chud is such a good movie.
I don't know these ones. I just wrote them down because it's A Little Sex and Hanky Panky. He was in White Chicks. He was also doing Lie to Me with Tim Roth, and I love Tim Roth, so I threw that in there as well. But yeah, his name was Frankie Faison. He plays Handy the truck driver. He was the Goblin truck of. I want to get the name of this toy truck real quick.
It was
motherfucking
Happy
Toys?
Toys.
Something like that.
I think it was a Happy Toys truck with not the Green Goblin on the front.
Yeah, not Green Goblin.
Goblin truck is pulling into Dixie Boys.
Not the Green Goblin.
The Goblin
the
truck.
Unofficial.
Whatever. Goblin truck pulls into Dixie Boy truck. Stop. Happy Toys. Here comes another load of joy. Wanted to get that in there.
Here comes another load of joy.
I love the baseball scene with the with the cans, because it was just an entire crew of people pelting soda cans at children.
Oh yeah,
I would have loved to be in that crew.
And the other
harder, come on.
Let's see the total gross profits, ratings, and reception. We have a 5.4 on IMDb, a 3 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics rated it at a 17%.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's very brutal, and I think there are some lulls that stopped them from rating it higher, because the comedy is there. It's not supposed to take itself serious. It's a comedy and a horror.
Oh, it's definitely a little goofy.
Do you think they give it they tag it a little harder because maybe like right now we see it as a comedy and as a campy movie, and it's a cult classic, so it grew over time. But at the time, did he mean to take himself seriously? Like, is he like, this is a serious horror movie?
I bet you people got pretty mad about this. Like, Stephen King is one of the best horror writers of our generation. He came out with a movie. He wrote it and directed it. It's gonna be the best thing ever. And then they see it in theaters, and they're like...
Music by AC...
Yeah.
Okie Doosey.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Have you ever heard Okie Dokie's song, Shake Me for the Evening? It's fucking phenomenal.
Great buns of tires.
Great buns of tires. This movie,
I don't know.
It was given a budget of $10 million, and it grossed $7,400,000.
Really? I'm surprised it made that much back.
This is total over the past 30 plus years. That's actually exactly 30 years.
That's not like theater run. That's the
total domestic gross.
$5 bin Walmart sales.
Right.
Yeah, you can find this in pretty much any discount bin across the country.
Sadly, it took me over 23 years to hear about this movie personally. So, the opening weekend, though, it made $3 million of that total.
Okay.
It made almost 40% of the total gross in the first weekend.
And that's that King hype.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody was like, Steve King movie.
Yeah. So, Stephen King was asked why he didn't direct another movie. He said, "Have you seen Maximum Overdrive?" He had hand-selected AC/DC for the music, and it was a nice story. They had met, and he sang their entire song to them, and they were like, "Okay, we'll do your movie." Wow. He seemed like a fan, and it was written specifically for the silver screen. So, also in the same note, when they heard that Stephen King was producing a movie that he wrote, directed, and helped produce, Bruce Springsteen was in mind for the lead. And Gary Busey was also contending for the lead role.
Really?
Neither of them were picked. Of course, they chose Emilio Estevez.
That's a much better choice because his beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah, but I think if they got Bruce Springsteen to do this film, that would have been an American classic instant.
Right, because the Emilio brings gravity to it. He's the only one. He's got the acting chops, and he brings some seriousness to the total campy nightmare that's going on around him. So if you had like a Busey or Springsteen in there with it, it would have been
so over the top,
1,000% camp, and maybe it would have been received better.
Yeah, Busey was actually coming out of a lull at that point too, because he had not done Lethal Weapon and Predator 2 yet. But Gary Busey was seen as like a C-list or B-list actor, and now. He was accepted in later on.
Now he's Gary Busey.
Now he's fucking Gary Busey. I want to talk about the cast. You guys like Emilio Estevez, right? Yeah. He played Bill Robinson. Mm-hmm. He got his notoriety in Batman. No.
Yeah?
You played Batman. I didn't know that.
I don't remember
You
that.
always learn shit on
In
these shows, I'll tell
Batman.
you. Fucking Emilio! He was in the Breakfast Club. I meant to say the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Men at Work, Mighty Duck series, Young Guns, St. Elmo's Fire, and The Outsiders. His brother being...
Charlie Sheen.
Not to mention
Yeah.
a lesser known, loved movie of mine, Loaded Weapon.
Loaded Weapon?
Yes.
I've never seen
that.
Spoof movie.
Okay.
Brilliant spoof movie. We will have to check it
I'll have
out.
to check that out, yeah.
I'm guessing of Lethal Weapon.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. In the car here, one of the honeymooners, which is the part we're watching right now, is the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of her few live action roles.
Yeah.
Yardley Smith.
Yeah, Yardley Smith.
Yardley Smith.
Which I always forget. She had the real small role in City Slickers.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The impregnated grocery store cashier.
She was also in The Big Bang Theory once and Mad Men, but she is greatly embarrassed by this film.
As she should be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, the honeymooners are not the focal point. It seems kind of like this is where I started to get bored with it, and it's because there isn't a lot of backstory. There's not a lot of character development. But then at the middle of the film, they take a big chunk of your time, and you're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
I think if they cast this Emilio as this guy, and like really made this,
You would understand the gravity of
you
the
would
situation.
understand why
If
you
they-
spend so much time with these two.
If they were the ones to have brought you to the diner,
Uh-huh.
that might have been
That would have
better.
been amazing. That's a great
And
idea, actually.
I feel like they got a third of the way into the movie, and then they said, "Oh crap, we have to remind people that the whole world is getting barren and this craziness is happening." So they used these honeymooners to kind of bring them into the diner, and like you said, they're kind of like leftovers. They're
Right.
they're
It was very
like, "Oh,
confusing, especially because I hadn't heard about this film. I don't know these people, and then they come in with such a big part. So it was like, good God, do I have to? I want to fill in a little bit of the gap. We have the opening title. It said, on June 1987, 9:47 a.m.
I love how specific that is.
That's an author for you. He wanted to set the tone, and the Earth passed through the extraordinarily diffuse tail of Rhea M, a rogue comet. According to astronomical calculations, the planet would remain in the tail of the comet for the next 8 days, 5 hours, 29 minutes, 23 seconds.
You can't forget the 23
seconds.
seconds.
16 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Whatever's a parsec after that. And it opens up to a bulletin reading, fuck you. Fuck you. Steve King actually opens the movie as well. First person you actually see at the ATM.
Oh yeah, I love his little cameo.
yeah.
Honey, come on over here, sugar bun. This machine just called me an asshole. And it reads asshole, asshole, asshole,
Just
asshole.
all over the screen in glorious green
This movie
screen,
is so
awful.
amazing.
He definitely knew how to bring it in, because I was like, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw Stephen
Yeah.
King. I knew this was going to be fucking fun to watch. It just got a little slow towards the middle. And I'm going to skip ahead because I want to recommend at minute 37, fast forward to minute 43. And then you can power through. You can love this just like we do.
Right.
Okay?
Basically, you just need to know that there are honeymooners. They ran into some trouble. They ended up at the diner. Go.
Exactly.
You don't need any of the
And I did like the part when they arrived there, and he says something to the effect of, see that gap? I'm going to plow the gap. And on the back of the car, it says, Curtis and Connie, good luck. I love that. I thought that was like an artistic masterpiece.
Yeah.
And so we're going to move through. We got everyone at the diner is called the Dixie Boy Truck Stop. And the Dixie Boy Truck Stop was made as a movie set. They did
they actually
did
built
not
it.
use a set that an actual
Like an actual
site.
gas station.
Yeah, they actually
built
built it.
this whole Dixie Boy.
That's kind of cool.
It was so realistic that truckers were actually pulling in here constantly. And they had to post in
funny.
every newspaper that it was not a real truck stop.
Wow.
They should just open it up and made some money back in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just start pumping gas for truckers.
And so we get to the Dixie Boy. We have Emilio. He's cooking eggs, and the boss calls him into the office. And at this point, you get an idea that the boss has everyone under his thumb because they're all criminals, and they are either probate or that they're on hunt by the officials.
So he's cutting their pay, making them work long hours, basically being a dick.
Yeah, they actually sleep at the Dixie Boy. All of these workers sleep at this truck stop. It's real life slavery, and he's burning the eggs. The waitress comes out to help, and here you go, a fucking meat slicer attacks her.
Yeah, I love that.
Real looking blood too.
We had this.
Yeah, it looked pretty good, and it looked like it got into her arm and everything, and she freaks and knocks it on the floor, and then the thing basically looks like some sort of rat creature, mechanical, jumping all around the floor.
Chopping her tennis shoes.
Chopping up her tennis
shoes. Bloody tennis shoes.
All while the world's most amazing rendition of the Psycho remade by, I'm assuming, the folks of AC/DC.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think they used John Carpenter's music for that scene specifically. I think they titled that one at the credits for Halloween 3. Whatever crossed over, it was Halloween 3, Flight of the Valkyrie, and then everything else was AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
Except the ice cream truck does play King of the Road by Roger Williams, if you listen closely.
Oh, okay.
Which is a brilliant song. I haven't heard it
I didn't
until
notice
I listened
that.
to this fucking podcast in the future. I had to time travel back. So it was crazy. And I'll just skip ahead. We're actually watching the scene where Amelia was checking out the goblin truck because it turned itself on and it ran towards the Bible salesman.
Yeah.
He was saved at that time. And Emilio goes into the cab and he has a suspenseful moment with a Jack in the Box.
Well, I was going to say, what year was this? 1988?
1986.
Six. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because we had that Jack in the Box.
With the goblin?
No, it didn't have a goblin in it. Clearly, that was like a crappily sculpted goblin. But we did have the exact same Jack in the Box.
Yeah, I think we still have it.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it a lot. My kids growing up playing with it.
In the scene that just happened, the truck like self-maneuvered its mirrors and stuff, which is one of the
makes no fucking
great
sense
things
whatsoever.
about this movie. In that, back then mirrors aren't mechanized.
That's
that
the
there
one
are
thing
so
about
many
this.
things in this movie where it's like, wait, that part of that machine isn't mechanized, and even if it's possessed, it shouldn't be able to do that, but it does it anyway.
Like I love the insane stuff in this movie, how like all this stuff moves, but half of it doesn't make sense because it's not like
we haven't talked about cocaine yet.
Oh yeah,
I think cocaine played a big part in these things.
Apparently it did. Yeah.
Let's fucking move the mirrors. Get out there, move the mirrors.
But if it made any sense, it would be like, okay, all motorized things can turn on. But it seems like basically anything that's, I was going to say metal, but anything like sprinklers turn on. They're not motorized. They don't have any electrical anything.
No. Yeah, it's a valve if you want to. Like,
the mirrors aren't. They didn't have motorized mirrors in trucks back then, so.
Right. But that all adds
amazing.
to the fun factor of the film, and you're just thinking of what crazy things, Oh, jeez.
I do want to say
dead dog with a cop car in its mouth. What the fuck?
Killed by a Walkman.
Yeah.
The honeymooner, his name's Curtis. He was actually in Apollo 13. I haven't recognized him. He was in also How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He was in a movie called Ransom, I'm not sure. Shiloh 2, Boston Legal, ER. So mostly TV, and lastly Starship Enterprise.
Cool.
But yeah, I didn't recognize Yardley Smith or this guy John Short as big stars when I first saw this. And it's probably because they played minor parts in films of today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yardley, all you have to do is close your eyes and then you're like...
Oh yeah, you can hear it, definitely.
Because that's I think a lot of people don't realize that she's playing Lisa Simpson. That's her voice.
It's not like she's not doing a voice.
That's her voice.
So shrill. Here comes the ice cream truck. He's actually looking for trouble. We have the kid hiding away. And this is the ice cream truck playing King of the Road. Mighty Tasty.
Mighty Tasty. MY-TTAS. T.
Ooh, you want to talk about the lawnmower?
Definitely.
They were remote controlled.
Yeah,
so They
yeah.
didn't have a lot of contact or a lot of control over the actual machine.
But
it's
it
kind
was
of
one of these
frightful.
scenes where they got a close up because the camera crew was right up close to it, shooting the blade and everything, and doing all these scenes. One of the crew members lost vision in one eye because a projectile got shot into his eye because of the
From the spinning blade.
Yeah,
of
but
That's like due
this
to
lawnmower,
cocaine use.
he was apparently just a big, like a cocaine cuckoo bird. Just, but everyone, when you see that lawnmower like riding around on the street, it has a working blade in it for absolutely no reason other than Stephen King was obsessed with the realism of the scene.
And this is a problem throughout the movie because it is radio controlled. They talk a lot about how these trucks being radio controlled, they weren't like Knight Rider where there's a guy in a chair suit. They're radio controlled trucks, and they actually broke down very frequently. So only one could be working at a time most days. And the radio controlled lawnmower hit a block that was leveling a camera. And it shot wood splinters into the director of photography's eye. His name was Armando Nununzi. But he lost his right eye, and Nununzi sued Stephen King personally. They settled out of court for $18 million.
Jesus,
that's more than the movie made. It took twice what the movie made to pay off this one guy.
Good. I mean, he deserves it.
I know. It's a really sad story if you think about it because
he's a director of photography. I mean, his most valuable thing is his eyes.
Yeah. I guess if we're on the topic, who else got injured, maimed, or otherwise?
At the very end, I'm thinking they might have gone back later on to film the time cards, but the ice cream truck, it flips over at the end. It's supposed to go head over heels and then roll, but it didn't roll. It slid on its top, and it went right towards the camera crew. One guy had to push the cameraman out of the way to save his life. And for that reason, they put his name on a time card in the beginning of the film. So it's just very dangerous. But I think that's one of the reasons this film you can see they're restraining a lot of that truck aggression that would make it as frightful as it could have been. They're reeling it back because so many things went terribly. Probably from the get go.
Yeah.
And with that being said. We do have the kid. He's running from these objects in a town. The sprinklers are going off like they know he's there. He witnessed all these dead bodies. But the one cool one was this woman. She was hanging out of her window with a hair dryer wrapped around her neck and a titty out. I thought that was a little funny because, it's not a mechanical thing like you said.
No, that's what I said.
Not.
Like I was saying, it makes no sense.
Like
one guy was killed, like you said, with the Walkman.
He had a Walkman on, and the Walkman's covered in blood, and he's covered in blood. It's not wrapped around his neck or anything. It's just on him.
Been listening to AC/DC and his
AC/DC just blew his eardrums out, and that was it.
So we go forward, and now the trucks are actually starting to come alive a lot more. You're noticing a lot more control by themselves. At one scene, they actually said it must have been a carjacker or something, and we talked about this guy already, but Frankie Faison pulls his keys out, and he says, "Oh, where are you, you son of a bitch?" Testicles. Why did I write testicles? Baseball game, soda machine attacks testicles.
Yeah, testicles. Yeah, he gets shot right in the nuts with a soda can.
The coach.
That
poor
great.
coach.
So Frankie Faison says, "Must have been a hot wire champagne," and he shows his keys to everyone in the diner. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it back slightly from that for the first kill that you see at the diner, the Dixie Boy arcade room.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of the first,
I love this scene.
like, mechanicals are going crazy scene that you see, and it's just one guy, one black guy, standing in there, looking in the arcade machines, a little shocked, and then the one pinball machine breaks its glass, and I guess that pissed him off. His only line in the movie, he yells emphatically, "Yo mama!" And then all the machines go crazy. They start spitting cigarettes out. Coffee's flying out. In
My
cups
favorite is
in
the
other,
coffee one. It's
and,
like coffee cup after
coins
coffee
coming
cup.
out in the other
Yeah.
one, and he dives down and starts getting it all.
And to credit of them, they didn't use a single bit of CG. It's all physical props, physical machines that kick out these cans and the cups, dumping cigarettes, dumping coins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the effects in this movie are actually really good. Like when they hit somebody's body with a truck, you see a big splattery body. Like they actually have dummies and stuff like that, and some pretty good cutting. I mean, if it wasn't such a crazy, like, off-the-rails story, this isn't a terrible movie. Like, the directing is pretty good. The casting is really good. All the characters in this are really fun to watch. And I think, like, if you just had a better editor to cut this back a little bit, this really is a pretty good movie.
The pacing is tough.
Yeah.
And
I think that's definitely the hardest part.
I think we should move right into the romantic aspect of this because we have this woman, she's hitchhiking, and she's in the car with who you learn to be a Bible salesman. He's very physical, very
he's
gropey,
very
and
handsy.
He's total sleaze.
She's defending herself against that onslaught. But
What's her one line?
how far are you going, sweetie? And she says, as long as you can keep your hands to yourself. What's that?
No, I was going to say the line where he puts his hand on her leg.
And if you don't get your hand off my leg, you're going to be wiping your ass with a hook the next time you take a dump.
I swear, I never heard no talk like that when I was a boy.
So, her name is Brett. I want to address this because
her name is Brett.
Brett, Brett. And this is the craziest name you could have picked for the leading lady, the heroine of the film.
Yeah.
So the whole time it's Bill and Brett are having a romantic onslaught or a romantic tryst.
That's so weird.
And so the first time Brett approaches Bill, it was after he's scared by the Jack-in-the-Box in the Goblin truck. So she says to him right off the bat, "You're pretty cute." And he says, "What?" Not that cute.
Well, maybe I'll grow on you.
So it's very forward. The whole thing is kind of forced, which is another downfall of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right away they become lovers. Like that's the thing about it,
Yeah.
because she's very forward and there's no in between. They're always seen together for the rest of the film. It only takes a very short time. I think in the time span, it's a night before they have sex. That very first night.
Oh
they
yeah.
have sex.
Yeah. Yeah, because we only see 2 days out of the 7. What was it? 7 days? 2 hours, 3 seconds, 23 seconds.
And so the timeline is very rushed. This is the part where I would actually recommend fast forwarding. The honeymooners are confused by the trucks that are flying in the other direction, and they're trying to get a direction on where to go for safety.
Yeah.
So they find the truck stop, and they realize, oh wait, I skipped. They see this truck that tries to run them off the road. That's the part you want to skip.
Yeah.
This truck and car chase is not good.
Air quotes chase scene.
Yeah. And this is, I think, where they started throttling back the aggression of the trucks. It's not so much a car chase as a truck follow.
I forgot about that. The Mack truck, the bulldog on the front of the Mack truck has glowing red eyes, which is impossible because they don't have any kind of fucking electrical anything to them. But whatever. I mean, that's fine. But Mike, I love your idea of if like these guys, if this was Emilio and these guys actually brought you into the truck stop, that would make such a better movie. Like,
because nothing really brings you in a truck stop. It was the ATM incident, then the drawbridge incident, and then you were at the Dixie Boy. And then it was like,
that's it.
Frankie Faison pulled in with the Goblin truck, and you're like, that's cool. That's it.
That's it.
Pretty much.
You're at the Dixie Boy. Then, like I said, they try to bring you out and say, oh, remember that the whole world's screwed up with these honeymooners, but then they come into the Dixie Boy and they spend the entire time there.
Yeah.
Which is my problem with a lot of movies that end up being this way, where it's on a global scale, apocalypse is happening, but we don't have a lot of money, so let's spend it all at
Yeah.
one locale.
Right. And they built the locale for this film, so I mean, it's fucked up. At this point, the truck just exploded. I'm not sure why. It went off the road and exploded.
Yeah, it went off the road pre-exploded. It
So
was
we're,
already on
we're
fire.
at minute 42 of the film. Just skip to that point if you want to see a truck explode.
Right, they see a sign for the Dixie Boy and they go, that'll be a good idea.
Great idea, Steven. Give me some more of that Coke, please.
Yeah. I feel so bad for these two because they really act their ass off in the scene. They're screaming and everything. And it just keeps cutting back to like a truck that's like, I don't know, 40 feet away. It's nowhere close to them until it basically explodes. Like, that's the first time it really rams into them. And they're like screaming and shouting. And I could only imagine their reaction when they went to see this movie. And they were like, wait, that was it? The truck's... That was it?
That was it. What?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Hopefully you're
basically-
making out because then it would have made a lot more sense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the truck exploded.
Yeah.
Come back here.
It basically followed them at 35 miles per hour and then accidentally swerved off the road, which caused it to explode with 50-foot flames coming out of it.
But don't let that dissuade you because the rest of the film is okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I do want to fill in is the Bible salesman. This guy has been a shitbird since the very beginning. The only part we missed was when he got ran over by the goblin truck.
Oh, yeah.
He was pitching his life away. You know, he's like, the Bible, honey, it'll give you health. It'll give you good health and good faith. It'll heal you. It'll give you everything you need as happiness. And, oh, get out of my way, bitch! I fucking saw the Cadillac get destroyed. So he got...
My goddamn car!
He really got plowed into that pavement.
And that was that's
what
what I was saying. It was
What
really
caused
good.
him to go to his car was one of the controlled trucks, like, swooped up beside it and dumped trash all over it, covered it in trash, and of course he's like, my car.
Just love how people pretend to be
Good luck.
Faithful until the moment gets you tested. So this is the one. Oh, good God! You say this, Ryan. Tell me.
I was gonna say, really, like, if you see this going on, why would you, like, you know, the best option here? We're gonna drive through all those trucks and get to that safe point of the truck stop.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would just keep fucking driving. Just pass it. Keep going.
There's at least 6 trucks that are parading around the Dixie Boy.
Yeah.
And Connie and Kurt think they're going to make their way through a gap. Now, the best part being that Kurt and Connie have their car painted for their wedding. It says, good luck, Connie and Kurt. And then they plow towards this gap, and they get clipped and flipped.
Yeah.
Which... Did
It's
they
pretty
get
cool.
clipped? Because...
Yeah, they got clipped. It's actually a very good shot if you look at it. Because
why does he have a missile launcher?
he does. He has a bazooka.
I forget. Oh
Dick
my
Boss
God.
Man's got a missile launcher.
I forgot about that. Where in the fuck did he get a missile launcher?
Oh, no, he's like a gun psycho, so he's got like all munitions and everything.
This is Joey, the fat
Jeez,
fat gas attendant, and now the boss Bubba is firing away at trucks with a bazooka. I don't know why he waited so long, but when Emilio comes back, because the boss saved the day. To his credit, that was his one shining moment in the film. And Emilio asks him, "Where'd you get a fucking bazooka?" And he said, "Oh, well, we got it. Shut up, Joey. It was in my Christmas stocking." So that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the boss has a cigar in his mouth the entire movie.
The entire time.
So it's in my Christmas stocking.
Oh yeah. By the way, Brett, the female heroine, when they were saving Connie and Kurt, Connie was all tied up in the seatbelt, flipped in a car, and she had a fucking razor, a straight razor in her boot.
Right in her boot.
And you're learning that she's hitchhiking to Florida, so she's kind of like a black sheep, and also Emilio's a black sheep. And they're just
Love connection.
Yeah, they're trying to fill in this puzzle piece romance. But
which is always a good matchmaker.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you know this about me, but my life sucks.
It's like,
Oh, really?
I have
My
herpes.
life sucks too.
I have chlamydia.
I was gonna say, this is like, it's like Mario. Like, you're an orphan? I'm an orphan. We should be together.
And this is also a disappointment in the film because Brett she was in the bathroom changing, and the reason being the Bible salesman had his hands all over her, and she said it was disgusting. They didn't show anything. They showed her ankles.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, later there's a missed opportunity. They're in bed together, and they're just under a sheet. It's kind of like... They already showed...
Yeah, you would think with all of the killing, like, they're killing so many people. This movie probably has a higher body count than, I mean, almost anything I could think of besides something like Independence Day.
I don't know. World War Z was pretty high in body count.
Yeah, well...
The Patriot was pretty high in body count.
Yeah, the Civil War did have a pretty high body... Or no, Revolutionary War. Sorry, I had my...
Get your American history straight.
It was twisted. Mel Gibson is an old fellow.
But you would think that they're going all the way with, like, pretty much all the way with the gore and the effects and killing people at random. You would think they were just, like, they have tons of nudity.
Let's not forget the wall of porn.
The wall of porn.
And the gas attendants.
Like, literally a wall of porn. Yeah,
She's
no
like,
nudity,
I'm a
though.
lead romantic role in a B-horror film.
Not going to see these boobs.
I'm going to jump in here real hot and heavy because there was a gas attendant who was blinded by the diesel going haywire. He went out to look for his kid and he was splattered by a truck.
Oh, yeah.
The kid, you realize now, is his son, and he's going to the Dixie Boy to find his dad. There's a plane overhead, and it's flying, looking for people to kill, I'm assuming, and then they're playing Flight of the Valkyrie. That is only one of 3 songs that wasn't originated by AC/DC for the film.
I hope that wasn't remote control, too.
And then it jumps to the scene. Joey, the gas attendant's on the toilet making wicked fart noises, just pooping everywhere like a wildebeest. And Emilio's on the other side of the wall harassing him about the guns. And he somehow gets the key to the basement, which is an arsenal of weapons. Yeah. But the whole time they're
like a Terminator 2
just
moment.
leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my thing.
Full-on Terminator 2 moment.
If I were going to rewrite this, the thing I would do is make all these trucks circling the truck stop the very end of the movie. Like, that would be my climax for this movie, because they spend how much time in this movie just being circled and circled and circled by trucks. You would think that just one of these would try and just ram through the buildings. Like, what do they care if they get destroyed, you know? Like,
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they need the gas pumps, okay, but they don't need the diner.
Yeah.
They don't need any of that. Well, I think they don't do it because once they start running out of gas, they show that the trucks know, like, we need the people to work the pumps. And so they basically spend, I mean, the whole second half of the movie being gas slaves to these truckers. They don't let them sleep. They blare the music, you know, basically doing all these tactics.
It's like my last girlfriend.
Just like my last girlfriend.
So then nightfall happens, like, there's a green cloud every single time it's nighttime, and this is the actual realization that the comet is affecting the machines. So Bill and Brett, which is so weird. Can I fucking just say I know how fucking weird this is? Bill and Brett are having sex.
Bill and Brett.
I'm not even homophobic, but a girl named Brett, it throws me so far away from my...
It makes no sense. Like, is that her full name? Or is that short for,
what would Brett be short for?
Bretta? I don't know, yeah.
Barrett?
Beretta, yeah.
It makes it hard because we know a Brett, so we're literally visualizing our burly, bearded Brett friend with gauges in his ears and tattoos all over the place.
Just smooching all up on
Emilio Estevez.
They're rubbing cake on each other's nose and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so romantic.
It's so weird. And so this is actually also
this
the first
is my
time...
dream date.
Now, coming up here, the waitress is about to lose her shit.
Now, come on, sweet thing.
Don't you sweet thing me!
Now, why don't you, baby, just...
They can't. We made them.
Yeah.
And this is the inspiration for the original AC/DC song, Who Made Who?
Made Who?
She runs out and she's screaming,
We made you! We're just some loyalty, you puking thing!
That is the most insane,
How can we get their attention?
maximum
She
overacting.
She went maximum overdrive
Yeah.
on the trucks right now.
She does go maximum overdrive in that scene too. 'Cause
I didn't
guess-
realize, but the trucks actually push her back inside. They do make a push at her. All right, and then from there, they actually hear the Bible salesman wailing in a ditch somewhere. And they said, "We can't let that go on. We got to take care of that."
Yeah, when he got run over by the truck, he actually got backed and it launched him into this like
Muddy
gutter.
river, yeah.
And so they hatch a plan. It's going to be Bill and Curtis going to save him, but they're going to take the sewer. They grab some rope, and we start in on AC/DC's for those
Yeah.
about to rock.
I would leave his ass in that ditch. I mean, like,
Yeah, but I mean,
regardless,
that would
he could be a nice guy. I wouldn't even take my chances. Fuck
Well,
it.
and you know what? That is the thought of 2/3 of the people in the diner.
Yeah.
But of course, Emilio
Being the
isn't
great
just
guy.
on parole. He's the guy down on his luck with a heart of gold.
Yeah. And
So-
Curtis turned and looked at him and said, "Emilio! Emilio!"
In fact, that's what the Bible salesman was
wailing from the
gun.
ditch.
That would be amazing. Oh, we
So
need
of
to
course
re-edit.
he's got to save him.
What
and
is
then-
love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me, Emilio. And so they're playing for those about to rock, and they go into the sewer. He's like, "Oh God,
Yeah,
I wonder
that's
how many
great.
people piss down here." And at that point, Emilio stumbles in the sewage. He's like, "How does that taste?"
Jeez.
But unfortunately, the kid actually finds the Bible salesman first, and the Bible salesman appears by all looks. He's totally dead until the kid decides to move away, and it was a nice jump scare. And then at that point, Emilio and the guy, honeymooner Curtis, walk in, and they find him, they say that he's dead now. Because, fuck, they went all the way out there, he died.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I mean, you could wait. He's eventually gonna die. I would just leave him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna say this again. There are some really great shots in this movie. Like, this is pretty good directing.
Yeah.
The story's a little haywire, but this is a pretty cool film. Like, a lot of the shots and a lot of the effects and scenes are pretty effective on their own.
Right.
Just when you piece them all together, it's just it's like a meatloaf.
Well,
It
that's
doesn't
it.
really
I mean,
taste good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Did you
That's-
use ketchup or A1? I don't even know to this day.
It especially hurts to find out that the director of photography took one in the eye. Because, I mean,
no.
the framing of the majority of the scenes, and like you said,
the lighting and everything.
the
is
lighting and
beautiful.
the angles, and
Yeah, it's
it's
really
all
effective.
one of the top points of this movie. As much as
with
so
no
many
depth
other things
perception.
are trying to. Yeah, and with no depth
Yeah,
perception.
I wonder how far into the movie that happened. Like, because they film
jump
movies
around, yeah.
out of order. That must have happened close to the end. Like,
God damn you, Joey! I told you to keep eye on them keys.
So, up until now, like we said, it's just been trucks going around. We saw a scene where it's almost like other trucks have heard the siren call and they're coming to this gas station where they know they can get refueled.
So you have, like, an idea that they can communicate. I'm not sure by...
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how, but
Or maybe it's just
Maybe
one
radio
mind,
control.
like a hive mind, and they all know what's going on. But now they're starting to bring in other vehicles that they can actually do things with. So a bulldozer's here trying to clear away the trucks they've blown up. And pretty soon, one of the best characters in the whole movie, which is literally just I don't even think it's a real army vehicle. It can't be. I couldn't wait till we
this
start
is
talking
all-
about the gun buggy. That's one of my favorite things in the entire world.
Yeah,
It's
it
literally
looks like a
just
golf
4
cart with a
wheels,
gun.
Yeah.
a steering wheel, and a heavy machine gun.
It's a platform and a gun.
it literally
Yeah.
looks like a cart that they motorized. Like, this thing is so goofy.
Oh
The
yeah.
fucking gun is bobbing around like my dick after whiskey and a vodka.
Yeah.
I'm
And,
gonna fuck you so good. Blah, blah, blah.
and in brilliant movie
Uh-oh, it's gonna
fashion,
get Bubba's car.
brilliant movie 80s fashion. It's a heavy machine gun, and it has It does have a large cartridge on the side, which I would give it 100, maybe 150 bullets total. So it's not unrealistic that it would be firing a whole lot of bullets. But
use them wisely.
the thing just starts firing and is firing for the rest of the movie. It is like unlimited bullets.
Yeah,
They
like
used
Doom
the
on
contra code or
PS4.
something. Yeah.
I wish they did something like made a really badass vehicle that had this kind of gun. At least you'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's as crazy. You'd be like, oh, it's
ATV,
great. Yeah,
all-terrain
of
or
course
some
it's going to be driving around, shooting people the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's this little wheelie cart with just an M16 on the top of it, a belt-fed M16.
Yeah.
It's
I was
amazing.
actually sad to see the boss
Oh,
get shot
Bubba.
at this point.
Yeah.
You could totally see his
Blood packs and the freaking chest plate and all that, but who gives a fuck? What I'm trying to say is that this tiny buggy creates
That
a
is
whole
really
world
good.
of hell on this diner, the Dixie Boy. The representation of the bulldozer and the gun buggy together is like they are synchronized.
I was just gonna say, so the buggy just did a whole horizontal sweep across the whole diner, and basically anyone who didn't take cover got at least
got it right in
16
the chest.
shots. And there's a guy who's pretty much an extra in the diner. He's got a green shirt on and an afro, and he did not get down in time. And
he walks out also like, "What's going on?
What's going on in here?" And just gets nailed a million times. And that's actually one of the few scenes of violence that have stuck with me since I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Like, just because it's
very realistic.
It's over the top in that, like, yeah, he got hit by so many bullets, but it was so realistic that it kind of jars you.
Yeah, he gets just splattered against the
gun
wall.
is smoking. I love that. They probably put a cigarette in there. I keep seeing that, and I think like they
Just
probably put a
slip a
fucking
cig
cigarette
in.
in there.
Yeah.
It's such an easy effect.
So now
the gun buggy is doing Morse code, and I thought it was so cool that the kid arrived because he's like, I just got my merit badge in Morse code.
Yeah.
I personally used to know Morse code, so I can believe that. You know,
Yeah.
this kid is like, I can fucking do this, and he's all proud of himself. He's writing it down, and they want gasoline.
That's funny.
It's
I love that the vehicles expected them to know Morse code. Like somebody in there's got to know Morse code. Somebody was probably in Vietnam or the army, you know, whatever.
Well, and that
an 8-year-old child.
Yeah.
that leads more to like, okay, maybe whatever's possessing these trucks also got into computer systems. It knows communication. It knows what people know, and it's like, okay, I don't have a voice. How can I communicate with these people?
Emilio, Brett, and the kid pumping gas. Emilio gets tired, and the trucks are getting gas nonstop. And when they run out, they say, "What can we do?" Well, obviously, there's a fucking gas truck in line, and the gas truck starts pushing Emilio Estevez, and he's like, "What? What do you want?" Like he's gonna fist fight a fucking semi. And it pushes him over to the refueling pipe, and he starts giving the station more gas. It was just kind of silly to me, and that's when Frankie Faison relinquishes him of his duty. He's allowed to rest, but in the process, he spins the gun, and they make a break for it. He tosses a grenade in the buggy, blows it up, and then the trucks outside start rampaging. Now, this is done in timing with a sewage escape. They escape through the sewer to go to that
haven.
Yeah, Haven.
And it's in the fall of night. So they lost control for a second. They refueled a lot of trucks, and then they gained it back by destroying the force of the Bunguggy.
Bunguggy. Go Bunguggy.
Bunguggy. Sounds like a
I'm
Pokemon.
gonna name my first child Bunguggy.
Bunguggy.
Oh god, I'm gonna name this podcast Bunguggy.
Weasels.
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 Rabid weasels.
Blistered hands.
I got calluses from pumping so much gas.
I know. How hard was it to pump gas?
Yeah,
He must have been pumping gas for days, but it was only day 2.
The thing clicks,
It
right?
clicks in.
The handle. It's like,
Put it automatic fill.
You can actually put a tennis ball in a gas handle if it doesn't click. And I used to carry a tennis ball under the cap of my fill port.
just to stick it in there.
I used to carry a tennis ball in my car, but that was for
My butt.
completely different sexual reasons.
I used to bounce it off the ground into my nuts because why not?
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And again, you get this idea like Brett is nursing him back to health, but she doesn't really have any real attachment to anybody in the world, so it's kind of odd that she picks
No, especially
Bill.
since this is what, like day
day 2.
2.
Yeah, it's only day 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I love how they're like, they have to be like, let's act like we're having a normal conversation
oh yeah.
while we walk right next
They're
to
trying
the
to
buggy.
trick the thing with no
Yeah,
ears.
act nonchalant. This gun-toting platform can totally tell if we're being awkward.
Yeah.
You know what would have been more effective than throwing a grenade in that buggy? It's jumping up and just taking the clip out of the gun.
Yeah, right. And he's got
Yeah,
a single
Oh.
kind of
They
just-
were worried about the buggy calling in an airstrike.
Yeah.
So that is a feasible reason, but I
Yeah.
don't like how it's like. It's not very climactic, and then it cuts to their butts in the air.
Yeah, it cuts right to a 2-shot of their butts.
Kind of like
Just-
a, wow,
Yeah.
wasn't that crazy, folks?
Oh, now everyone is making an escape through the sewer. They're trying to make it to Haven where they can get on a sailboat to try and avoid these machines. And I guess they're going to wait it out. They don't really have a solid plan other than that.
And they don't take any guns with them. Like you.
They do, though. They
Well,
do.
they do, but I mean, like
Not a
I would.
lot.
I would. Every single person there
Every
should
single person
have
should be
at
loaded.
least one gun.
That's another good point, is they had so many guns and never used them that entire time.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, you at least try to use them, and it's
Yeah.
of course it's not until after they get out that the trucks finally start trying to smash the damn truck stop in.
And that's one of my favorite scenes. This is like things you would always want to see in your entire
Oh, yeah.
life, is trucks driving through a truck stop. There's a dump truck that lifts its tailgate and plows the roof off of the entire Dixie Boy.
Yeah.
Just very cool things that they built this set, so why not
Yeah,
destroy
I mean,
it?
it makes perfect sense. You built it, just fucking destroy it.
Yeah.
Which I always thought when I watched it back in the day, I'm like, boy, I hope that gas station was like closed down
Yeah.
and like not functional really anymore, because they just annihilated at the end.
It's so cool. It's just like destruction porn. Just
Yeah.
demolition derby, crushing cars and signs, smashing through walls. Like, just so much fun stuff.
There are 2 types of people in this world. Those with OCD that need everything organized and perfectly spaced, and those that just fuck everything up. So this is easily a masturbatory section of the film for those people.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's
There
so
it
cool
is.
to see
Oh,
all
so
this destruction.
Damn, that's fucking cool.
It's like,
dump truck annihilates the roof on a gas station. Punches through the support. I mean, this is just things
Man.
that you would want to see at this point, and it's for thrills.
And how much fun for the remote controllers.
yeah.
Because they're not in it. They're not in the trucks. They're not worried about, getting,
They're not getting hurt
injured
or anything.
They've got
At
a
this
nice
point in
view.
the film,
Yeah, at this point,
there's
yeah.
already been enough injury. The escapers, the sewer escapers, only escaped as far as the other side of the sewer.
Yeah.
So instead of continuing to run, they're just kind of watching all the carnage, which, to what we just said, you can't
I
blame
mean,
them.
Fucking amazing.
I wouldn't be able to walk away. I'd just sit there and watch them crush things for a little bit.
You know, I think I made it pretty clear throughout the film I would cut out minutes 37 to 43 because it was a total bummer. And I would cut out a few of the scenes regarding, like, the characters that did not have a large part. The honeymooners, like, if you're not going to build the character, then don't bother.
Yeah.
You just jump to the parts where they are incorporated and cut them as an extra, basically.
Right. Basically, what they end up being is the husband of
plane right
the
in
husband
across.
of the honeymooners ends up being the sub hero to Emilio.
Yeah.
you
The
know,
Robin.
and
Sure.
then but the wife Poor Yardley is just whining the whole time.
She is so annoying, especially with her voice.
Right. So I think what I would change to add to what you would change, I would take the whole honeymooner thing, maybe make Billy and Brett the honeymooners, and that's what the story that brings you to the diner.
You know what?
Skip the whole 15-minute strange, slow chase scene, and then make the husband of the honeymooners the fry cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You swap them
Amelia
out.
would
You don't need the whiny
definitely
wife.
drag a lot of force into the arrival.
Yeah, well, I would say
a brilliant thought.
Yeah.
I would make Emilio
Gay, and
the
then
husband,
sex him up so hard.
the husband in the honeymooners,
This Brett thing.
have him like they're terrorized by some kind of truck. You don't know what the hell's going on. They could see some of this other stuff, like in the town and everything, if they escape from the truck. And eventually it meets them or follows them to the truck stop where his wife or, new wife would be killed. And then he could have, Brett could have been someone at the diner, like the waitress or somebody. And then they could have had some kind of connection.
Yeah.
And she lost somebody and he lost somebody. And it really give them a reason to connect besides like, I'm lonely, you're lonely, I like cupcakes.
There's trucks
Let's
everywhere.
rub them on each other.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think a lot of the budget went to cocaine. In retrospect, if he wasn't doing so much coke, they would have had the room to move around. But he was like, I'll just build the fucking Dixie Boy, I'll destroy the fucking Dixie Boy, and I'll do a lot of coke.
Yeah.
And he had fucking coke to bring home.
That's,
you know what I mean?
That's where it all was. And I would have liked to have seen...
I don't blame him either. If you've ever done coke, that shit is awesome. Kids, talk to Pepsi. He's a fellow by the name of Pepsi. He lives on India Ave in Philadelphia. Get yourself some good quality cocaine and watch this movie. No, I think.
But don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs. I'm talking about real soda.
Yes.
Oh, straight up.
Cola.
The real cola. Dr. Cola.
You don't want that high fructose corn syrup in your shit, bro.
Yeah, get that Mexican
Mexican
Coke.
sugar.
No.
Mexican Coke.
But yeah, another thing I'd have changed was if you're going with sticking with the diner, I would have just stuck with the diner. Maybe not done all this the couple of things.
Yeah.
The ATM, the drawbridge, and whatever. It would have been better to build the characters a little more and then build the suspense a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Or, take the 15-20 minutes you wasted with the honeymooners, ditch it at all, and spend more time out in the world showing horrific things going on with all this stuff. Maybe one thing that usually always ties it in is a news reporter reporting crazy shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like
even over the
any
radio
80s
or
film.
something.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Duel. It is Stephen King's first film. It was... Technically, it's a TV movie, but it's one guy harassed by one truck, and it's literally a guy cuts off a truck, and then the truck just starts fucking with him, and you never see the driver, even though there's a physical driver, but you never see the driver. The whole movie is so tense, and literally the whole thing is him in his car trying to escape this truck.
Are you talking about Joyride
I was
or
going to
Jeepers
say,
Creepers?
That sounds like Joyride, yeah.
Well, those are very reminiscent of Duel, and it's such a good movie, and you could see that Stephen King, you could see that
Burt Reynolds.
you could see that Steven Spielberg really, I mean, even at a young age, I forget, he was 20-something when he made that movie, has his...
Craft, huh?
Craft, down.
He's got the
It's
knack.
such a good movie. And if you could make an entire movie of just the truck chasing this guy to different truck stops and stuff like that, you could really make a good movie, out of this, basically. And I was going to say one thing. The gun that the kid shoots at the
fast food window.
The burger lean, whatever it's called. Is actually the gun from Star Wars. It's the blasters, the Stormtrooper blasters. Before they took, I think it was European European machine guns, and they modified
Yeah.
them.
It
And you could see, we had the toy of it, but it was a Batman.
because the Burger Lean's talking shit,
Yeah.
Holy
and he's
shit.
got
Gonna
that
get
machine
that.
gun. And
But-
yeah, it's a Star Wars blaster.
Yeah, they
like,
took off the front, the bifold,
Unmodified.
or the bipod in the front, and the side clip. You just take out the clip and add, I forget what they added to whatever it was, but it's the same exact gun. It's awesome.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of which, if he were to fire it the way that he was firing it, he would have burned the hell out of his left hand because he was just holding the barrel and firing.
This was his moment too. His father's dead. His mom's not in the picture, as we can see. And the Burger Hut is saying, humans here, humans here. He's like, I've got this. But then after that, he kind of like busts his load, spurts his squirt, and then the ice cream truck comes in.
Yeah, there's the ice cream.
Mighty Tasty, back for another lick. Curtis, he's one-upped by Brett, the female, who takes a low shot.
Yeah, I don't know why he was even in that shot. It should have just been her by herself. That guy runs out. He shoots a couple bullets and that's it.
Yeah,
he looks
very
like
much of this guy's not capable.
Yeah,
and they wanted to one up him with a female lead.
this woman. Oh, she's killed by her window.
She got killed by her
Looks like she's
power
holding
window.
her breath too. Her face is blue. I mean, like she's a real person. Her face is totally blue, and she's got a huge diamond, which Janky D is gonna steal. I don't know his name.
I don't know what he expects. I mean, from their point of view, the world is ending. So why would you even steal a diamond? But whatever.
Maybe he wants a bird.
Priorities.
Birds love shiny things.
Yeah.
He's turning away, but the goblin truck is looking him down.
Which, if you've ever been near an 18-wheeler, is fucking impossible.
You can hear it from
The
miles away.
Yeah, just them idling. Oh,
Wow,
man.
what a good
I
shot.
love the
That-
effects
that
of
was
it. Anytime
right
somebody
on.
gets shot, or anytime somebody gets hit by a truck, is so good. It doesn't look like it's actually mannequins. I'm trying to figure out how they did that. If they
Well, I'm
actually made
assuming
bodies.
They keep the front end of the camera pan on the truck, and as it rolls through, you only get a glimpse of the body.
Yeah,
Just a quick.
that's true. Yeah.
You pretty much just get a glimpse of the impact.
Well, and they pack it up with blood because every time they hit somebody, it splatters. It's great.
Now, a rich guy bought the Goblin, and he refurbished it.
I've actually seen pictures. Yeah, I've seen
Nice.
pictures of that truck.
Alright, now Emilio's got the last missile in the rocket launcher
Oh.
right down the mouth of the not Green Goblin.
Smoke pouring out of his face. The rocket has not ignited, but then, approximately 6 days later, the Earth passed beyond the trail of Rhea M, exactly as predicted. Now, that's kind of a vague statement saying that there was an alien ship up there that was controlling the machines of the Earth, and it was destroyed, leaving everyone to become free of its hypnotism.
Yeah. So
And
I guess
really-
I guess the UFO travels in the tail of the comet as it goes near planets and does that. Which
Yeah.
to what end? I mean, I guess it was trying to wipe out humanity.
I guess so.
With the machines.
Yeah.
And clear the planet, I guess, for its race to come and take over.
I
But
think
you
we-
kind of have to use
Yeah.
your imagination here.
It's kind of
we
not
need
built
a
into the
sequel,
plot.
is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
Need a sequel.
Independence
Fucking
Day.
A.
Yeah, they're double doing
Independence Day was the sequel, maybe. This was the search party trying to figure out our weaknesses, and then they come back and they're like, fuck it, let's just blow them up. We
Yeah.
tried vehicles, a small scale assault.
So the
Next time we're gonna
UFO
just blow them up.
that the Russian satellite shot down was the one alien
Mhm.
that Area 51 had
Yeah,
in Independence Day 1.
makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
So you got fucking Gino up in the spaceship like, man, look what I'm doing to these things. And then the guys are like, oh, that's pretty funny, Gino. And then, fucking killed Gino.
Fucking killed
God
Gino.
damn you, stupid fleshies. And they're going to send a bunch of tentacle beasts after us. I do think they need a sequel, Maximum Overdrive, Extreme Overdrive-ications. And
I was gonna say
more Coke.
The last line of the movie that popped up after the original, the survivors of the Dixie Boy are still survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this thing at the end absolutely ruins the end of this movie. Because how great would it be, just a dramatic shot of them riding off in the sunset. You have no idea what the hell is going on. You don't know where they're going or what they're going to do next. And you just have Emilio Estevez and Laura Harrington just arm in arm looking at the sunset. And she could just turn and be like, what are we going to do? I don't know.
And he pushes her head down to his crotch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because the outro is AC/DC's "Shook Me All Night Long." It's played in the worst sound studio I've ever heard. It's very echoey. It's not as impactful as it could have been. So I mean, on top of the subtitles, the overlay. This is just the worst way to dive a film right here.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
Well, especially
blue
because
screen with
it's
yellow
such...
type. It's cheesy. It's fucking. They didn't know what to do.
No.
They couldn't take themselves seriously enough to produce it in a way where it was going to leave you with the thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just left with a bunch of shit in your pants and fucking hate in your heart.
Well, like I was saying, you could have them ride off in the... She could say some line, whatever. They could ride off in the sunset, and you just hold a long shot of them riding off in the sunset as credits roll.
As the credits roll.
And you don't even have to do music. Just eerie and quiet, and just leave everyone sitting there like, what the fuck was that?
But Ryan,
Holy shit.
the soundtrack was by AC/DC.
Yeah, you couldn't have like a
They had
eerie...
to have enough AC/DC songs for a soundtrack. But I don't understand why they re-recorded it. Because
I don't know either.
Yeah,
I do know.
If they made the Who
Oh,
Made
really?
Who for this,
Yeah.
then okay, they made the Who Made Who for this. But why re-record the other songs? You've got them laid down.
If you are selling the rights to a song, you don't want to give them the original. You're gonna sing the song for them, but it's not gonna be the same that you have on the radio. You have on your.
It's not going to be
CD.
the A+ version.
Yeah, you're getting
Gotcha.
a B
Okay,
song.
yeah.
And that's why it sounds.
It's like
shit.
Kids Bop.
So now they have the rights to that version of the song, and it's not as good. I think they did that shit
Gotcha.
on purpose. It may have been
Probably,
recorded
yeah.
in the fucking basement.
It must have been.
Like this
It must have
fucking
been.
podcast.
They probably recorded it in a podcast bunker similar to the one we're in right now.
Now we're gonna do our version of "You Shook Me All Night Long," and I hope that you don't die. We know that happens. But let's close this motherfucker out like bosses. Right?
This concludes another episode of the Video Rewind podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Stay tuned for next week's trailer after the music by Matt McClanahan and Rotac. Thank you to, I do want to say thank you to some of these people that have been following us, have been fans thus far. And without you guys, I don't think we would still be doing this. It's making our day to have anyone enjoy our time spent.
I was surprised how quickly we got 5-star reviews and private messages
Sweethearts
and
out there.
followers and nude pictures. Feel free to send us many nude pictures. Guys
Ladies,
and girls,
thank you,
we're
Ken.
equal opportunity nudists.
We have a few names here. We just want to give you guys a shout out. Maya Glover, Jay Galileo, Rockstar Kent, Rexino Kovac, Nancy Ferguson, Kendall Mason, Jennifer Senner, Sarah Gordon, Corey Pace, Kimberly Lay, username of Kerr822, a Guy Man, Chad MM, and we just want to send you our love. Thank you guys for sending us yours.
Feel free to like us, subscribe, follow us, all that kind of stuff. We would love if you leave us 5-star reviews. Put some of your favorite movies in the review and we'll make sure to read your name and some of the movies you want us to cover in our next episode. Stay tuned at the end of this episode. You can hear the full song, Demon Stone, by Matt McClanahan and Corey Pace of Rotac. Check them out on SoundCloud. They're a pretty awesome band. This has been the Video Rewind Podcast. I'm Ryan Hickey.
I am Patrick Hickey.
And I'm special guest, your name, Mike Aspinall.
All right.
Thank you, Mike. I loved having you on today. You're the man.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah, thank you for doing
Hold
this
on to
last
your
minute.
butts. We're doing this next
That was
week.
awesome.
Thank you, guys. Stay tuned.
All right.
Bye now.
Now's the part where we touch our wieners.
We poke our wieners in a trifecta.
Can't run from me, little man.
Turning evil by the final hour, he'll fill your soul with the darkest power. You try to run and you try to hide, but the demon stone will have you tonight. Watch out.
And
I'm still recording.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, so you heard us saying, sure.
Yeah,
You're
kept it on.
Fucking
Ball,
snapcracker.
you're a ball of
Creamy,
whatever.
slimy shit.
Yeah. Okay, but
There's this new show called Bucky O'Hare. It's a rabbit. He's in outer space and he's fighting.
all the
three
bad
of
guys
them.
are frogs. It's real cute. They're just, I think they're toads actually, but
No, you're thinking of Battletoads and they're heroes.
no, I think they're both. I don't know.
What if you had a video game for PS4 called Bucky O'Hare vs. Battletoads?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I would fucking jizz all over your face, you sweet man. I think I would sloth monkey your titties because I think that's the shit.
oh, Jesus Christ.
I would Rudolph Randolph all over your mouth.
All right, I think I went.
I think we have enough.
Oh, I like the tits when there's a nipple right in the middle of each breast.
You know, if you're the pale or the tan, we don't give no
Head
shits.
on the air back and you see a sweaty pair of breasts. You just want to grab them and
Yeah.
slap them with your tongue.
I like it when there's nipple hairs because it's like, oh, what's that tickle?
It reminds me of my mother.
Oh! What's that little tickle on my tongue? The nipple hairs.
For those of you who are unaware, we flew from New York to Australia
Yeah.
mid-conversation.
I'm here in Australia, it's snowing and it's bruised.
We had a few Fosters.
We had
Troop of the
9
bad
Fosters each. I had 9.5. My brother, he's a sober one at the moment. He had 9 3/4.
It's not a 9. This is a 9.
I think we should do Crocodile Dundee next week.
We should.
No, not Crocodile Dundee 1.
Oh,
We
but I
do
love it. I
Crocodile
love
Dundee
both.
2.
They're so good.
Because fuck
Oh,
everything.
Speaking of Crocodile Dundee 2,
I had
The
6 or 2.
Collector.
When you were
Collector.
asleep.
Have you seen The Collector?
Oh, yes. And the collection.
I haven't seen The Collection yet because
I saw a collection of bottle caps that was really amazing. I saw shiny ones and dark ones and rusty ones and brown ones and fart ones and dookie ones. Oh.
So
So you're talking about a high definition version of Phantasm.
it's
like-
insanely
like
high,
an
yeah.
on a
insanely
disc
super
that is
duper
brought
high.
into the 2016
You can see the mustache
technology.
hair on
On the
chin.
mustache
on
hair.
the beautiful woman in the purple dress. You can
You know
see
what is
those
really
nips.
sad? Is that women do grow facial hair and they're forced to bleach it and wax it. I think they should let it grow because it makes them look more like
Oh, yeah.
men and then I'll
I
be more
love-
comfortable having sex with them.
I love a woman with a strong dark mustache.
Yeah.
Fresh as some of them.
No,
I hit the end of Candy Crush.